What's going on, guys? So today I'm reviewing a 991 911 GT3. I know I said the next car I review on the channel will be an AMG GTS, but I bought a whole bunch of new equipment. I'm kind of changing the style of the reviews as a whole and didn't want to have to reshoot someone else's car a bunch of times until I get it right. So I figured I would do a review of my car, see how it goes, and then the GTS will be the next car I review. Porsche is a brand with an insane motorsports heritage, and I would argue like the center of any respectable car collection. The 911 has been virtually unchanged for the past 50 years, and while the current generation cars are light years better than what was around 50 years ago, visually you can still tell it's a 911. It's probably one of, if not the only sports car that has remained recognizable for 50 years. The GT3 is definitely the most track-focused, raw of the bunch. And while it's still refined, definitely includes you more in driving the car. It's a little bit louder, it's a little bit more precise. You definitely hear a lot more road noise. You hear the transmission clunking around a little bit, and it definitely feels more like a race car than the other 911s. Engine-wise, you're running a 3.8 liter flat six, pushing 475 horsepower, 325 pound-feet of torque, and it revs all the way up to 9,000 RPM. While it is insane, by today's standards, the horsepower and torque are actually way down. But couple it with Porsche's PDK dual-clutch transmission and a couple other technology tricks that Porsche's kind of wrapped up into it, and you really don't notice that it's down on power. In a straight line, this car actually keeps up with a friend of mine's Ferrari, if not takes a little bit past 100. The car's rear-wheel drive with 305s in the back, and launch control propels this car from 0 to 60 in right around 3.2 seconds. Insanely fast for a naturally aspirated rear-wheel drive car. Transmission is one of the best in the business. Shifts are ridiculously fast. If it wasn't for the insane exhaust note, you wouldn't even know you were changing gears. There's zero delay between shifts, whether you're going down or up. There's no lag. When it comes to the sound, the GT3, even from the factory, is definitely a screamer, but this particular car has a full GMG racing exhaust, headers and all, and towards 9,000 RPM, this car sounds insane. The interior is super functional. Porsche does a great job kind of keeping their interiors simple, to the point. Everything is right where you would want it. Steering wheel is super plain, but that's what I want in a track car. I don't necessarily need all my controls on the steering wheel. The dash is pretty much all analog. The Infotainment Center, while it does work and it does its job, is a little bit outdated. 2017 they added Apple CarPlay and stuff. This one still has Bluetooth audio and all that. It's just a little bit outdated when you look at some of the other systems in other cars. And at the end of the day, it's still gonna be a 911, so you're still gonna have all the daily drivability of a 911. And when it comes to maintenance and reliability, it's a Porsche. Porsches are pretty much bulletproof. So if you decided to drive your GT3 on a daily basis like I have, it definitely does the job no problem. Visually, you can't mistake a 911 for anything else on the road, and the GT3 just kind of takes that and turns it up a notch. You have a huge wing on the rear, the whole car sits a little bit lower, a little bit wider, and the front end is a lot more aggressive with bigger air intakes. And the intake on the hood definitely shows this is a GT car that's kind of like a standard across all the Porsche GT cars. This particular car is finished in black and has a couple Porsche exclusive options on it. Guards red wingtips, mirror stands, and the wheels really just tie the whole thing together. And while it's definitely not for everybody, Porsche GT cars are historically kind of loud and colorful cars. In my opinion, on this car, this color combination looks insane. So what's driving the GT3 like? It's definitely one of the best driver's experiences you can get out there right now. I've driven the GT3 RS and the GT3, and they both give you this sense that you're doing something more than just going from A to B. That's what I look for in a car, and that's why I love the GT3 so much. Porsches and the 911 in general are very underrated cars, especially for people that haven't driven them before. Up until the latest generation of GT cars came out and become these kind of like hard to get, sought after items, Porsches and 911s really weren't so talked about or weren't so widely known. If you've driven one, then you probably love it, but if you haven't, then you probably look at something like the GT3 and ask why wouldn't you buy something like an Audi R8, Huracan, or even the McLaren 570S for a similar price point. And all I can really say to combat that is that you have to drive a GT3 to understand why you would buy a GT3. From the engine setup, the sound it makes, the handling, the looks, just the car as a whole package is one of the greatest driving machines ever built. The GT3 is not the car you buy to go impress people at the club, or if you want that movie star experience. This is not the car you buy if you want to be the fastest car off the line or the fastest car in a straight line. Hell, even on a track, this probably isn't always going to be the fastest car. The GT3 is the car you buy when you want to drive. Alright guys, thanks for watching this video. I know it's a little bit different, so basically I didn't plan on doing a whole lot of car reviews when I started this channel, and then I did one or two and it seems like you guys enjoyed them, and then people started offering me their cars, and all of a sudden I have like a long list of cars that I can review, and it was like, why not? But then it's like, how do I step my level up a little bit? And for me, watching Grand Tour is like, all right, I'm gonna emulate Grand Tour. So that's why the DSLR is now my in-car camera. There's a DJI Ronin on the way. It was supposed to be here for this weekend. It got lost in the mail. No one really knows where it is, but hopefully it shows up eventually and I can start shooting with that. This video was just kind of like scratching the surface of what I could do. I know for whatever reason my lav mic is just clipping really bad, so I'll get better in-car audio, and then a lot more rolling shots and cinematic shots once the Ronin gets in. So the next review you see, or car event or whatever, should look even better than this one, but I still wanted to like try out the new style and show you guys what I'm thinking for the future. So share, like, hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. I have a lot more content on the way. And comment down below what you thought of kind of this style of review, and also what you think of my GT3. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.